This happened my senior year of high school. I went to my graduation lockdown thing and came home around 6 a.m. My dad had accidentally locked me out, so I had to roam around the house looking for a way in. Don't ask me why I just didn't wake my family up, because I really don't know. A little backstory. There are a few meth labs in my neighborhood, and some sketchy people would wander around at night. The night before, while I had been gone, my dad had left the basement door open. My mom went down to close it and says that she felt like someone was down there with her, and she closed it and locked the door before running upstairs. She shut the lights off and locked the door going down into the house. Fast forward to when I came home. I wandered into the back and tried to get through the basement. The door was unlocked and not shut all the way, and the lights were on. Someone had been in the basement with my mom the night before. I'm lucky they had left before I came home. So to whatever was in my basement, thanks for leaving, and let's never meet. This was a few years ago, but I still got worried about going out alone at night. I'd been at a bar with a group of friends, and this was known for having lock-ins for regulars. That night, we were allowed to stay well past closing, and I didn't leave until about 2 a.m. I was a little tipsy, and about 30 minutes away from home. Plus, none of my friends lived the same direction as me, so I had to walk back alone. I'm walking along, having a cigarette on a quiet street, when I see a man on the other side of the road. I don't think much of it until he starts staring at me and crosses over to where I am. He approaches me and asks to use my lighter. Cool, no worries. I relax a little bit. He lights a cigarette and I walk off, but he speeds up to walk with me. I start feeling a little creeped out and get the feeling something isn't right. Suddenly he asks me if I do coke, and pulls a bag of white powder out of his pocket. I say no, and I speed up again. Where are you going so quick, little girl? He shouts, and now I am really freaking out. I ignore him and keep walking. He speeds up again. Try it, you'll like it, he says. I say no again, and that I've really got to get home. But he has other ideas. He grabs my arm and pulls me close to him. He tells me that he's going to give me the night of my life, and I struggle to get away from him, screaming and crying for help. I manage to knee him in the balls, and he lets go of me. I don't think I've ever ran that fast before in my life. As I'm running, I pull my phone out and call my dad, who literally leaves the house in his PJs and runs to meet me. He walks me home and lectures me on how stupid I'd been. I never saw that creepy man again, but I did report it to the police, but nothing ever came up. Creepy coke man, let's never meet again.
One night when I was a really young kid, I was in the living room watching my favorite cartoon. I had the TV pretty loud, but I thought I could hear my mom calling my name from downstairs. I called back, "What?" She didn't answer, so I guess she couldn't hear me. I heard her call me again, so I went down to the basement. The lights were off, so halfway down I called for my mom. She didn't answer. I didn't know where she could be calling me from, but one thing was for certain though, she wasn't in the basement. I started going back up the stairs, but before I even got to the top stair, I heard my mom's voice again from down in the basement calling my name. I looked down into the pitch blackness. I ran back up to the top step, turned on the lights, and walked halfway back down, peeking into the basement. I didn't see my mom anywhere down there. Suddenly, I got a huge rush of horror. I ran up the stairs basically crying for my mom. She came rushing down the stairs from upstairs, and I cried to her that something was calling me from downstairs that sounded just like her. She swore to me that she hadn't been calling me. She went down to the basement to check and make me feel better, but I didn't feel better. I'm sure she didn't believe me. Why would she? I was a little kid. but I still know that I heard what I heard.
It was 1962, and my dad and his father were on my grandfather's milkman route, driving between a forest and a deep lake, and it used to be a quarry. The lake was about 300 feet deep or so. While he was driving, off the trail came a man, running. He was naked and the top half of him was on fire. He was running from the forest and heading for the lake. He headed for a sort of cliff or rock. When my grandfather slammed on the brakes, he got out of the truck and ran over to help the man. The man on fire dove off the cliff, hit his head on some other rock, and fell into the lake. It was an immediate deep drop into the water, and the man fell straight through. My grandfather had taken off his shirt now and swam after the man. My grandfather comes up 30 seconds later and gets out of the water. He tells my father what he looked like and how he saw him go under. He described it to my father as this: as I saw the man go under, I saw he had a piano wire around his neck. My father told me my grandfather was disturbed for a couple months, but still never really got over it. Nobody was reported missing that week.